Let's talk about the breaking the chains of the past so we can create a new future and we can step into it with a passion and inspiration. So for everyone who is wondering how to quit certain habits, how to let go of the past and how to overcome the negative thoughts and any kind of actions and habits which are still connecting us to the past, this video is for you. So stay tuned because today we will go deeper into that conversation, because many of you are asking how to change certain habits, how to develop new habits which will overcome bad habits, the one which are constantly manifesting in things which we would rather not experience, right? So how to do it? How to stay connected with our true selves, with the soul, so we can constantly move on, creating the right possible actions which will develop the habits which will bring us the things that we would truly love to experience. Maybe you've heard a quote that a chain of a habit is so weak that it's almost impossible to feel it until it becomes so heavy that it's almost impossible to break it. And it's actually true. But if we become aware that habits are made out of small habits, and small habits are made out of even smaller habits, and smaller habits are made out of actions, then we need to become aware of what is actually going on in our minds, what we're thinking when we're doing certain things, because that's how we are taking actions. We can only create we can only react based by our state of being, and our state of being is made out of how we think and how we feel. So if we want to feel greater than how we think, we need to become greater, right? We need to have a greater vision. And if we want to think greater thoughts, because when we are observing our environment, all we can feel are worries and fears and anger and frustration or whatever. Obviously, our thoughts will be negative, right? So how to overcome that state so we can think greater thoughts? We need motivation. And most people are not motivated because they are observing the present reality from a certain perception, because they've been programmed to see the reality that way. Yesterday I was talking that the system is designed the way to distract you. And your mission is to distract the system, because that's why you're here. Most of the things in the system, most of the sources of informations are designed the way to distract you, to put you into a certain state where you will be acceptable to those informations, so you will be constantly thinking about it. And if you're constantly thinking about it, then you're obviously already part of that system. And in order to break the chains of that, you need to become greater than that, right? So many times we can find people which are saying, I am that way because of my parents. I am that way because people say that to me. I am that way because my family is not supporting me. I am that way because I'm not so talented, and so on. Those are again chains of the past. We are still attached to all those things. And every time when we are re-experiencing those events in our mind, we are making these chains heavier. Every time when we are thinking about it, we are making these chains heavier. And the thing is that every time when we will think about creating something extraordinary, the first thought that will come will be about our parents, about the people that said us it's not possible for you. And because those chains are now so heavy, you can't break them, right? So how to break those chains? An interesting thing is happening in our brain, as neuroscientists are calling it synaptic connections. When we are thinking certain way, we are building synaptic connections. Those are like small roots in the brain. And if we are constantly thinking the same way, the synaptic connections become stronger and it's harder to break them. Similar as habits, right? So if you are constantly thinking that you are a victim because of your parents, because of those events, because of those things, you're building stronger and stronger connections in your brain. And that's why you're thinking constantly about it, because it's almost impossible to break those thoughts. Those are the part of your identity now. You're identifying yourself by those thoughts. I am that way because of that. I am that person. And because you can't break those thoughts anymore, you're also feeling equal to those thoughts. You're feeling equal to how you think. Right? And when you're thinking and feeling the same way, that's what your state of being is all about. So your state of being is now a definition of those connections, and you're embodying that. Everything you've been told in the past, you're now a manifestation of the stories. And when you're now from that state of being, looking into that possible vision of the future, like more abundant self, more loving self, having that successful company or whatever it is. From that perspective, all you can think about is, it's not possible for me. I'm not worthy. I'm definitely not talented enough to create it. I don't deserve it, and so on. So you can see what we need to do here. We need to build new connections in the brain firstly, which means new thoughts, and we need to connect new thoughts. We need to repeat new thoughts, because habits are created from small actions, and small actions, we need energy for that, right? We need attention for that. We need to place more attention to new thoughts. So when we will place more attention to new thoughts, we will start building new connections in the brain, according to neuroscience. That's actually a neuroplasticity, a science which is researching how brain is changing when we are changing the way we think. So if we start thinking new thoughts, we will create new brain, and we will experience a new identity eventually. But the problem is here that it's not an easy thing to start thinking new thoughts. If we are moving through the day, right, doing different things, it's like we always fall back into our old selves and we say it's impossible to change. So we need to schedule a time of growth or a time of change. You can write onto your calendar, like every single day in the morning, in the 8 a.m. in the morning, I have my time for change, or my time for growth, or my brain time, or whatever you will write it in, And then every single day, when you will schedule it, you will work on that. So you will know it will be like a workout for your brain, workout for your mind. You will start building new thoughts. You will start writing down new thoughts. You will start meditating and thinking about these new thoughts. And whatever practice it will be, I'm constantly talking about how to change it, and meditation is a powerful tool, because when we go from beta, brainwave state, in beta you are when you're thinking, analyzing, criticizing. In beta brainwave state, it's hard to change those things. So we need to go in alpha state, and in the morning when we wake up, we are actually in alpha state. So that's why I'm saying that it's much easier to do it in the morning. If you will take time in your morning for doing that, for writing new thoughts down, it's like Creating a clear vision of yourself without judgment. What it means, creating a clear vision of yourself in that future without any judgments, that it's not possible. If you will not judge that vision, you will already create it as a potential. When we see a potential, subconscious mind will start showing to you opportunities, how to get there. But only if you're not judging that vision that it's not possible, and you can only judge it based by the past experiences. So what we are doing now, we are redesigning our brain, redesigning our mind, like uploading new informations into our mind so we can train our body how it feels like. How it feels like to have that things, how it feels like to be that identity. We are now breaking the chains of the past because we are not placing our attention to our past anymore, but rather we are placing our attention to that future vision. This is a powerful work, and it will change your life if you will dedicate your time to it. If you will dedicate more of your energy to that vision of the future than you are placing to the memories of the past, that vision will become more important and more real than the memories of your past. And that's so real. So, are you ready to break this chains? Are you ready to make this work? So, how to break the chains of your past so you can create a new future? You need to place more attention to that vision without any judgments. So when you will say that every single day I will take at least 20 minutes, 30 minutes or 1 hour, whatever works for you. I prefer at least 20 minutes for having a clear idea how your future self looks like. It can look that way, like the first time when you will start doing that, design that clear vision and then start meditating. The next 1 week, just meditate on that vision. Visualize everything, how it looks like, what you're doing, what is your job, what is your house, what is your car, all those things, just to be sure how your identity looks like. Then what is your mission, what you're working on, what is your job, what is, how you're communicating with people. Create everything, go into details, the relationships, finances, your spiritual growth, personal growth, all of that. Be precise about that vision of the future, because this is who you are going to be, who you are going to become. And when you will be practicing it through time, you will see that you will start realizing more things. Maybe I don't want to experience that, maybe I will change these things for something else. Through that process, you will become more connected with your soul, and your soul will start guiding you. The reason for that is because before you were so attached to your past that you had no connection with your soul and you couldn't hear a voice of the soul. Now when you're designing your future, your soul is finding out, okay, this guy is changing. Now is also my opportunity to connect with you so I can guide you. So slowly it starts to give you inspiration, Here I could add this, here I could add a little bit of that, okay, yes, more money here, okay, this is your mission, and you will start to feel more inspired and more creative. And slowly when you will start manifesting things in your reality, you will be even more supported, and your encouragement will be even stronger. You will feel even strongly that it truly works. You will feel better, you will have more energy because of that. Just imagine how much of your vital life force, your energy, were you constantly giving into your past. constantly saying why you can't do those things, why it's not possible for you. Being afraid that people will judge you, just because when you were little, your parents were afraid of being judged, or people around you, friends or whoever was around was afraid of being judged, and you've adopted all those thoughts, and now you're afraid of being judged. You know, it's time to overcome that, because in order to create changes in our lives, we need to become the change that we wish to see. And if we want to become the change, we need to overcome our fears, because fears are blocking us in order to change. It's really great to say that fears are the part of the system. Those are the low vibrations and all the sources of informations which are constantly all around us are putting fears into you. So you would be afraid, to change. That's how you are staying in the comfort zone. And if you truly want to change, you need to overcome those fears. People will judge you anyway. But the question is, are you truly, is it truly important? My mission is much bigger than that. Why would I care if people will judge me, what people will say about me? I'm not here to care about it. You know, yesterday I was talking about the mission of the soul in the previous video. Your soul is guiding you. And before you came here on this planet, you knew what you can bring to create beneficial changes. And now that you are here, now is your time, now is your moment. Will you waste it, or will you do something with it? Are you willing to overcome all those fears? Because on the other side of the fears are all the blessings which are waiting for you to get there. You will experience so much abundance, so much of beauty, everything will come to you. So don't worry about those things. Now it's the time to truly break the chains of the past and to experience that new future, because we are in the golden age. We are, humanity is waking up. More and more people are breaking the chains about everything that we've been told, because most of those things are not even true. What science is showing up, we're thinking between 60 and 70,000 thoughts a day. And most of those thoughts are the same as yesterday. And the interesting thing is that most of those thoughts are made up by us. So we are making up stories about ourselves, who we are, how we are reacting, how the world works. And because we believe in those stories, they are real for us. And if those stories are real for us, that's how we see everything around us. So if we change those stories, it's possible that the world around us will change. And it actually is possible according to quantum physics. An act of observer will always create something which is possible to see. So when we change the stories about ourselves, about you, when you change your story about yourself, who is yourself? If you are the infinite consciousness, yourself is your identity. When you change the story about your identity will change. When your identity will change, your reality will change. Because your identity is your personality, and your reality is your personal reality. When you change your personality, your personal reality will change. That's the law. That's the quantum law. We can't change it. So, one more time, if you want to break the chains of your past, you need to create a new future, and you need to place more attention to that new future than you are placing to your past. You need to understand that we are wired to think about the past and then design our future based by our past because we feel it's a safe way to do it. Our brain is designed to make sure that you will be safe, to make sure that you will be protected. And the only way to be in that safe zone is to look into the past and to think about what went wrong in the past and make sure that it will not happen again. So we are building ourselves a box in which we are closed in, and longer we are staying in that box, less we are aware that we actually are in the box. It's all an illusion. And I want to remind you once again, it's all an illusion. So we can create a beautiful illusion if we want, but it will take some work, some practice, some time, some energy. And right now is the time to do it. We can't postpone it. One more time, I will be repeating it in every single video because we can't postpone it anymore. Right? Tomorrow never comes. All we have is now. If you are not willing to create changes right now, you will, I don't know when you will start doing them, probably never. So start doing them today. Right at this moment, start thinking, what is my vision of the future? Doesn't matter if that vision will change. Maybe tomorrow you will not think the same way anymore. But if you will not start designing it right now, you will probably never do it, because we are like constantly procrastinating things. We are constantly procrastinating just because we think we have time. But Buddha said, the only problem is that we think we have time. We don't have time, all we have is now. And now is the time to create changes and be the change that you wish to see, because your identity will adopt what the consciousness is thinking. I mean, like, consciousness is creating. So do not place all your consciousness to your past, because it's just one part of yourself. It's gone, it's not real anymore. Place all your consciousness back into this moment, because you are here. Hello, you are here. And then place it into your future and design your future self in the present moment, because that's where you're going. And let that future come to you in the most unknown way, because it will find you. If you are investing your energy into it, it will find you. It will find you. So that's it, my friends. I'm sending you love, blessings, and power. Have a beautiful time and see you soon. One love.